Love, blessings, peace, and prosperity. Welcome to another episode of Coffee, Miracles, and Menopause. I am your hostess with the mostest, Nicole P, 52-year-old Gen Xer. Recently moved back to the Midwest after 25 years living in the PNW. And I have so much to share, about the miracles, magic, and medicine I've experienced on this journey. And I love cafecito, by the way. I love my coffee. I know that when you're like in menopause and perimenopause, that coffee is one of the things that really aggravates your hot flashes. And I don't care. I don't care. I'll cool off. I'll carry a fan. I'll wear an ice pack around my neck because nothing is going to like make me give up my cafecito. Cheers. This morning I'm drinking, or this afternoon, I'm drinking it's from a brand called Peace Coffee. I should have got the package out. PEACE. Got it at my local co-op. It's actually delicious. It's like a medium roast blend. I'll share the package with you the next time. So Peace Blend, Cafecito, Salud. Oh gosh, my coffee is, love it. Love it, love it, love it. So let me tell you something, okay? I am really loving like the surge of women being like, oh no, just because we're in menopause, coming up to menopause, doesn't mean our life is over. Like, I love so many, even like early 40-year-olds that are like, oh, we're at midlife. Oh no, it's like just beginning. Like, I love that. I wish I would have seen that when I was in my 40s. And I love all the 50-year-olds and 60-year-olds are like embracing age, and we're talking more, like having more conversations, on the internet and on social media about like what's going on with our bodies and just like the magic and medicine of this phase in our lives. Like, we're coming into like the really like strongness, right, of our energy. And I love this stuff. One of the things I want to share with you that has been really, really, really important for myself in truly doing this deep healing. Truly doing the deep, deep healing, and being like, oh my gosh, wait a minute, this is no dress rehearsal. Like, I'm like near, like, well, we all are kind of near to, we don't know. Everybody, I feel like, has a diagnosis of something. Like, we don't know when our day is going to come, when we got to go up and pass it on to the other side. Nobody knows. I care for my mom, who has many different illnesses, chronic illnesses, and often is between life and death. And so I have a very different perspective, I think, because I've seen her almost cross over and then come back. And I've had a lot of death between loved ones, family, and friends, but also just accompanying my mom on this journey of dance when she dances between life and death. So I always just say, well, she says, and I kind of like take that on too, that we all have a diagnosis of some form. We all have a terminal diagnosis. We just don't, some of us don't know it. Some of us know it. Some people know it. Some people don't. And so, like that whole thing with like, oh my gosh, I have more years behind me than I do ahead. So I did this really deep commitment to healing, like going really deep to really healing a lot of stuff. I think I thought it was going to go quick. I thought I was going to, once I decide I'm going to do this healing and I just do this, I'm doing these rituals, I'm doing these practices, I'm making these changes, bada bing, bada boom. And no, it took quite a bit of time. One of the greatest things that really supported me in this journey, and I still have more. I don't think you ever are completely quote unquote healed. I think you continue to, it's always evolution, it's always steps. We're always moving and grooving and coming closer to the center of our truths and in flow with our purpose and flow with peace, with spirit. And it's always a journey. It's always a journey. So here's one of the things that really supported me is stillness. Stillness has been the greatest teacher and the greatest medicine. Now, I avoided stillness for so long. Now, don't get me wrong. I was always a rester. I was always a napper. But for so long, I lived so out of alignment with parts of my truths, right? Parts of myself. And I would rest definitely, and I was, like I said, always a napper. But so much was just like to recuperate, to have the energy to keep on going. It never was like really totally stillness to really hear myself, like hear my truths, hear my spirit. Like I always avoided it. Like I'd have stillness, but then when it got a little bit too deep, when like the truths of like you got to get your SHIT together, then I was like, oh no, like I avoided. Like then I would have a drink, or then I would go for a walk, then I'd go to the gym, and even like the most quote unquote healthy activities can also be a way of avoidance, can also be a way of avoiding that stillness and being with yourself. Because I think what happens is that we can be still, but when we start to hear the truth and we don't want to take actions on those truths, then it becomes a way that we find things or activities or people to avoid those truths. So stillness in the way is of being able to not be productive, right? To be productive, so to speak, not to do activities, not to do anything to distraction. And I learned really about that the hard way. I learned it the hard way. During the pandemic, I'd left my ex of 17 years, moved in with my mom. She was living in the woods in the Olympic Peninsula and in the time of COVID. And talk about stillness. I mean, we had social media and things like that, but there was a lot of stillness. There was a lot of isolation, and it was hard. It didn't feel good. I'm on the other side, a couple few like 4 years later, but going through it was very, very rough. So you have to take it like in doses. You have to take it, in moments, but finding ways to introduce stillness into your life and noticing what comes up, right? If at first, because you're so used to being distracted, you're so used to just like avoiding the stillness and or procrastinating, right? It gets like a little too much. So you take a break, then you move away from it, but really being intentional, like how can you, and ask yourself, how do I incorporate stillness into my life? How do I, remove myself, I guess you could say, right? To not have as much static, like stillness. How do you invite stillness? It wasn't really until I could be in the stillness and that I was able to really start to feel and to move through and to embark truly on that deep, deep healing. And it's also now that I'm at this point, stillness I incorporate quite regularly because I think in stillness I can appreciate the meanings in the moments. It's very easy to go, 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 got to do this, got to do this. But when I'm in stillness, and sometimes not even with music or anything, just stillness, me and my cafecito looking out the window, I'm able to be more present to the meanings of the moment. So stillness, I wanted to just share that with you, stillness, reflecting on what that means for you, how you can incorporate more of that into your life. And then if it feels in the stillness, if it feels uncomfortable, sometimes to work with through stillness and to be able to be in stillness, you need support, right? Like a therapist, also too like a healer, right? Somebody who you can trust, a mentor, somebody, right? There's different modalities of therapy that one can be in, but stillness is golden and it's queen. And it doesn't mean you have to be 8 hours in stillness or a week in stillness, but even if you take those micro moments of stillness and learn to build upon them and to incorporate them more in your life, I think that is one of the greatest things that I would offer as guidance and advice as a 52-year old Gen Xer in this wonderful, mystical, magical strength phase chapter in life called menopause. Menopause. That's what I got for you, my love. That's what I want to share. I want to share about stillness. All right. I am going to go and I am going to, go on with my day. And I'm going to go be in stillness. That's what I'm going to do. All right. Thanks for tuning in, my love. Bye.